The best swordsman ever. What's up everybody, it's Sonu-sans, and welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we're diving into a topic that's both epic and timeless: swordsmanship. We're talking about the most skilled, legendary, and downright badass swordsmen and women to ever walk the earth. Or at least, the ones we've heard the most about. We've got a wild mix of historical figures and legendary characters, all of whom share one thing in common. They were absolute beasts with a blade. So buckle up, grab your imaginary katanas, and let's get this show on the road. Number 10, Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai. Kicking off our list at number 10, we've got the legendary Miyamoto Musashi, straight out of 16th century Japan. This guy was the real deal, a true samurai who lived and breathed swordsmanship. Musashi was famous for his undefeated record in over 60 duels. That's right, you heard me, 60 duels and not a single L. This dude was basically the Floyd Mayweather of samurai. But Musashi wasn't just about brute force. He was a master strategist and philosopher too. He even wrote the Book of Five Rings, which is basically the Bible of swordsmanship and strategy. In it, Musashi talks about his unique two-sword fighting style, Niten Ichi-ryū, which means two heavens as one. Imagine fighting someone who's equally deadly with both hands. That was Musashi's jam. He believed in using both a katana and a wakizashi simultaneously, keeping his opponents constantly guessing and overwhelmed. Talk about a two-fisted terror. Musashi's skill and wisdom have inspired countless swordsmen and martial artists over the centuries. He wasn't just a warrior, he was a true artist of the blade, and his legacy continues to influence modern-day martial arts and pop culture. Number 10. Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai. Legendary Miyamoto Musashi from 16th century Japan, a true samurai who lived and breathed swordsmanship, famous for his undefeated record in over 60 duels and not a single L, the Floyd Mayweather of samurai. But Musashi wasn't just about brute force. He was a master strategist and philosopher. He wrote the Book of Five Rings, the Bible of swordsmanship. His unique two-sword fighting style, Niten Ichi-ryū, deadly with both hands. That was Musashi's jam, using both a katana and a wakizashi, a two-fisted terror. Musashi's skill and wisdom inspired countless martial artists. His legacy continues to influence modern martial arts and pop culture. Number 9, Choi Young, the undying Korean general. At number 9, we're heading over to Korea to meet the incredible general, Choi Young. This guy was a true hero of the Goryeo Dynasty, and his swordsmanship was the stuff of legends. He was like the Korean Captain America, always fighting for what was right and defending his people. Known for his strategic mind, he always thought several steps ahead of his enemies. Despite facing countless enemies, Choi Young always came out on top. His legend continues to inspire people to this day. Number 8, Joan of Arc, the Heavenly Warrior. Coming in at number 8 is none other than Joan of Arc, the French heroine who struck fear into the hearts of English soldiers. Now, Joan wasn't just a warrior. She was a devoutly religious young woman who claimed to have visions from God. Talk about divine inspiration. These visions led her to take up the sword and lead the French army to victory during the 100 Years' War. And let me tell you, she was a force to be reckoned with. Though Joan is often depicted holding a banner symbolizing her faith and leadership, she was also highly skilled in swordsmanship. She trained alongside her soldiers, mastering the art of war, and personally led charges into the heart of battle. Can you imagine the courage it took to do that, especially as a young woman in a male-dominated field? Joan's swordsmanship wasn't just about physical strength. It was about strategy, leadership, and unwavering faith. She inspired her troops to fight with a fervor they hadn't felt before, turning the tide of the war in France's favor. Chapter 4, Number 7, Tsukahara Bokuden, the Sword Saint. At number 7, we're back in Japan to meet the legendary swordsman and philosopher, Tsukahara Bokuden. This guy was a true master of the blade, undefeated in over 100 duels. But Bokuden wasn't just about winning fights. He saw swordsmanship as a path to self-improvement and enlightenment. He was like the Yoda of samurai, always dropping knowledge bombs about the deeper meaning of combat. Bokuden was the founder of the Kashima Shintō-ryū school of swordsmanship, which emphasized both physical and mental discipline. He believed that a true swordsman should be able to defeat his opponent not just with his sword, but also with his mind and spirit. One of Bokuden's most famous teachings was the concept of the sword that takes life and the sword that gives life. He believed that a true swordsman should strive to use his skills for good, protecting the innocent and upholding justice. Talk about a true warrior's code. Chapter 5, Number 6, El Cid, the Spanish hero. Hold on to your horses because at number 6 we've got El Cid, the legendary Spanish hero who fought both for and against Muslims in medieval Spain. This dude was the definition of a badass warrior, known for his unmatched courage, his loyalty, well, most of the time, and of course, his insane swordsmanship. El Cid was like the Chuck Norris of 11th century Spain. Born Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, El Cid earned his nickname, which means the Lord, through his incredible feats in battle. He was a master of both sword and lance, equally comfortable leading a cavalry charge or fighting on foot. This guy could conquer anything on horseback or on 2 feet. El Cid's legend was cemented during the Reconquista, a period when Christian kingdoms fought to reclaim territory from the Muslim Al-Andalus. He fought on both sides of the conflict, always seeking to increase his own power and prestige. Talk about a true pragmatist. Chapter 6, Number 5, Achilles, the near-invincible warrior. Okay guys, we're diving into the world of mythology for our number 5 pick, and it's none other than the legendary Greek hero Achilles. This dude was basically a demigod, born with superhuman strength, speed, and fighting skills. You know those action heroes that seem impossible to beat? Yeah, Achilles was the OG version of that. Achilles was best known for his role in the Trojan War, where he wrecked shop with his trusty spear and shield. But don't let those weapons fool you. Achilles was also a master swordsman. He was trained by the centaur Chiron, who taught him everything he knew about fighting and survival. Talk about a legendary mentor. Achilles' most famous weapon wasn't his sword though, it was his near invulnerability. Legend has it that he was dipped in the river Styx as a baby, making him immune to harm everywhere except for his heel. And you know what they say about Achilles' heel? It's the one weakness that can bring down even the mightiest warrior. Chapter 7, Number 4, William Marshall, the ultimate knight. Coming in at number 4 is a knight who embodies chivalry, skill, and a whole lot of victories. Give it up for William Marshall, often hailed as the greatest knight to ever live. This English warrior was the real deal, a tournament champion, a trusted advisor to kings, and a legend in his own time. He was basically the medieval version of a superhero, always fighting for what was right and defending the weak. William Marshall's life reads like an action-adventure novel. Born into a relatively modest family, he rose through the ranks through his skill in tournaments, which back then were basically brutal fighting competitions. He was a master of horseback combat, wielding lances and swords with equal skill. But Marshall wasn't just a brute force warrior. He was known for his chivalry, his loyalty, and his wisdom. He served multiple kings throughout his life, always remaining a trusted advisor and a voice of reason. Chapter 8, Number 3, Guan Yu, the god of war. At number 3, we're traveling to ancient China to meet a warrior so legendary he's worshipped as a god. Put your hands together for Guan Yu, a general from the Three Kingdoms period, whose name is synonymous with loyalty, strength, and unmatched skill with his green dragon crescent blade. This guy was like the Chinese Thor, wielding a massive weapon that could cleave through enemies like butter. Guan Yu's weapon of choice was the guandao, a heavy pole weapon with a curved blade at the end. It's said to have weighed over 40 pounds, but Guan Yu wielded it with such grace and power that it seemed like an extension of his own body. He was unstoppable on the battlefield, leading his troops to victory after victory. But Guan Yu wasn't just a skilled warrior. He was also known for his unwavering loyalty to his sworn brother, Liu Bei. Their bond was legendary, a testament to the power of brotherhood and trust. Chapter 9, Number 2, Richard the Lionheart, the Crusader King. Charging in at number 2 is none other than Richard the Lionheart, the English king who became a legend during the Crusades. This dude was the epitome of a warrior king, known for his courage, his military genius, and his ferocious fighting style. He was basically a medieval conqueror with a mane of golden hair. Richard the Lionheart was a force of nature on the battlefield. He was known for his personal bravery, often leading his knights into the thick of the fighting. He was a skilled swordsman and a master of strategy, earning the respect of both his allies and his enemies. While Richard's reputation as a brilliant military commander is well-deserved, his reign as King of England was surprisingly short. He spent much of his life fighting abroad, leaving the ruling to others. Some might say he was more comfortable on the battlefield than on the throne. Chapter 10. Number 1. Zorro, the Masked Avenger. And finally at number 1, we've got the legendary masked vigilante, Zorro. He's the only fictional character on our list, but come on, who doesn't love a good swashbuckling hero who fights for justice with a rapier and a whip? Zorro is the ultimate symbol of rebellion against tyranny, and his swordsmanship skills are as sharp as his wit. Created by Johnston McCulley, Zorro, which means fox in Spanish, is the secret identity of Don Diego Vega, or sometimes Don Diego de la Vega, a seemingly foppish nobleman who uses his alter ego to fight injustice in early California. He's the classic example of a hero hiding in plain sight. Zorro's fighting style is all about speed, agility, and precision. He's a master of the rapier, a light and nimble sword that he uses to disarm and disable his opponents. And of course, no Zorro fight would be complete without his signature move carving a Z into something or someone with his blade. And there you have it, folks, the 10 best swordsmen of all time. From the battlefields of ancient Japan to the fictional California of Zorro's adventures, these skilled individuals have captured our imaginations and inspired us with their bravery, skill, and unwavering dedication to their causes. Whether they were real historical figures or legendary characters, their stories continue to inspire and captivate us. Who's your favorite swordsman? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content.